Hello everybody. Today I figure we'll talk about saving files and the different formats to save files in. It's something that you'll probably do almost every time you're in Gimp, or at least exiting Gimp. So we'll open up a project. Grab this one. Okay. So we have an image here. And let's say we're ready to save this, okay? And here we are. We have a lot of layers and stuff. But what's going to be the best format to save this in? So we'll take these things into consideration. Are we ever going to be making changes to the image? Is it an image or animation? Do we need high quality image? Is the file size even going to matter? And then for where you're going to be putting the image, do the file types matter and what kinds are accepted? Okay, so let's look at these really quick. Changes. Is there ever going to be a chance you're going to need to make changes to the image? Okay, something like this, it's very complicated, as you can see, with all these different layers. And if there's ever a chance I'm going to have to go through and make a change to any of them, those layers, or to the image itself at all, I don't want to have to start all over from scratch. I want to be able to come in just like this is and make a change to it, no matter how simple it is. So if we're going to be making any change to it at all in the future, we're going to want to start out with always saving in a .xcf. Okay, a .xcf format is the standard Gimp format. That's what Gimp reads. That's what it is best for using for Gimp. Okay, it loses no image quality, and it will save everything just as you leave it. So every single one of these, in fact, this is probably the last layer I was working on right here. It even saves like even all the way down to the last file, the last layer you were working on. Okay. So it won't lose image quality, and it will keep everything exactly as you leave it when saved as a .xcf in Gimp. Okay. So the next time you open it, it will be exactly the same. So I always recommend, if there's ever a chance you'll be making any change to it in the future, always do a backup, no matter what the other criteria are down here. Always save it as a .xcf. Next, is it an image or animation? That will matter because on PNGs and JPEGs, you can't save those as animations. So if it is an animation, you'll have to go with a GIF, at least out of these three. And these are the three most accepted file formats when uploading images or animations to websites. Okay, I'm speaking mostly on for websites, but you can take a look at other formats if you can use other formats that can save in an animation. But out of these three that are generally accepted at most places, if it's getting animation, you're going to use a GIF file. Okay. Image quality. Do you need a high quality image, or does it not really matter? Okay. For image quality, the best image quality you're going to get, of course, I'm talking outside of a GIMP file now. I'm talking when you're going to upload a file to websites. You're probably going to most likely have these three choices to upload your file. And many websites will have file size to take into consideration. If you have enough space, you're going to want to go with the highest image quality most likely that you can get. And that would be a PNG. You can save a PNG with pretty much no loss of data, meaning no loss of the quality of image. After that, a JPEG. A JPEG is able to condense the file size a lot smaller than a PNG, but at the same time remains pretty good quality. You will lose some quality every time you save as a JPEG, but it's not horrible most of the time. You can still get a nice quality and a nice medium to small file size. In a .gif, with a GIF, you're going to get a much smaller, you can get the smallest file size, but at the same time, you lose a lot of quality. You will most likely notice most of the time, you will notice on any kind of a complicated image, you will notice the image quality go down considerably with that file type. But if you have simple files, then you might not notice it too much, and it might not matter either. Okay. So anyway, so you have to take these things into consideration, the file size and the quality, and try to match what you need. Okay. So if I can, I always try to save in a PNG because I know I'm going to get the most quality left out of it. But at the same time, many of the websites I deal with, when I'm uploading an image, they say you can't have anything over, say, a size of 2 megabytes or something. I don't know. So if you can't have too big of a file, then you're gonna have to downgrade what type of file you save in, or just change your image altogether if you can't get the file size low enough with the image quality that you want. Okay. Types of files accepted. We just pretty much talked about that also. So maybe some places will only accept GIF and JPEGs and not a PNG. That's again one of those things you have to take into consideration when you're going to be saving your files, is these are going to be the most of the things you're going to be concerned about. So let's just do a couple examples really quick. We have a few minutes here, we can do that. Okay, so why don't we save this in each of those formats, and then we'll give it a try. We'll look at what happens with them. So we already have this saved as a GIMP file. We opened it as a GIMP file. So now we'll save it, and we'll go to Save As. And up here we'll call this A dodgeball .png. Click enter. Okay. It says it can't handle the different layers, but we can either flatten the image or merge the visible layers. So we'll go ahead and merge the visible layers and then click export. And I already have my default, I already saved this with my default settings, and I have it compressing 0. Okay, I'm going to get the highest quality out of this type of saving. Can change this and go up to a 9 for compression level. But I don't want to compress it. I want the image quality to be saved. Okay. Now we'll save it in a JPEG format. Also, we can go down here and go to select file type by extension. Okay. And here you can see the different file types, and then there are extensions over here. So we just saw the Gimp image, and that was the XCF. We're going to go for the JPEG. Okay. So let's save it as a JPEG. Highlight that, and then click on Save. Okay. The JPEG plugin can't handle transparency. Oh, that was one of the things I forgot to mention. Okay. So we'll go ahead and click on Export, so it'll modify that. And quality, we'll save it at 100% quality. And click on Save. Okay, now we'll save it as a GIF. File, Save As. And we'll go for the GIF. Merge visible layers. We're not going to save it as an animation. Okay. And convert the index using default settings. We'll go with that because we don't want the grayscale. Click Export. Okay. Okay. So, one last thing I forgot to tell you for considerations. Transparency. Okay. For transparency, you can save, always, of course, you can save in the XCF. PNGs, you can handle transparency in a PNG, but JPEGs will not handle transparency, and GIFs will handle transparency. So if you have a transparent image, you can't save it in the JPEG format. You would have to either go with a PNG or a GIF. And of course, then the other things will apply also. Is it a animation? If so, then you would have to go with a GIF. If the file size has to be very small and compressed, you would want to go with a GIF as opposed to a PNG most likely also. And then of course, if you don't have to worry about the file size so much, you could go with a PNG if it's an image with transparency and save it in a high quality image with transparency still. Okay. Take a look at these really quick. So let's see what these ended up at. So the GIF image ended up at 149 kilobytes. The JPEG image ended up at 298, so pretty much 300 kilobytes. And then the PNG ended up at 1.24 megabytes. Okay, so as you can see, it does matter on the file size and how low. This is so much lower than our 1.24. Okay, I'll end this video here. Hope this helped you.